Returning to our developing story on tensions between Russia and Ukraine, and US President Joe Biden's statement saying that he's convinced Russia will invade Ukraine in the coming week. Joining us live now is Professor Joe Siracusa from Curtin University. Joe, thank you for your time. What do you make of this latest development? It was feared that Russia may have invaded Ukraine last week. Joe Biden says he believes it will happen in the coming week. Is this a waiting game now? What do you make of the comments from Biden?
Well, Biden is saying exactly what he sees, that the Russians have now reached the capability, that is, they have about 190,000 forces surrounding Ukraine, and that they're capable of moving, and he believes their intention is to move shortly. Now, we've heard now for a couple of weeks that a Russian attack is imminent, daily, whatever it is. People must feel that this is a very slow game. You know, an international crisis isn't one-day cricket, Gabriella. It takes time, and it's taking time for the Russians to get their forces into place. And, you know, at the end of this 2 months, Putin is in a commanding position. He's won pretty much all he wants to win. I mean, there's no chance that NATO is going to go into Ukraine. There's no chance there's going to be first-strike weapons there. But now he's playing the longer game. He wants to negotiate Russia's legitimate place in Europe, the so-called defense architecture, and he wants a seat at the table. Keep in mind, Gabriella, about 6 months ago, no one wanted to see Vladimir Putin. Today, the world is beating a path to his door. I mean, he would be the envy of Peter the Great and Catherine the Great, you know, in terms of he's commanding the heights today. People are waiting for him to do something. Now, I've been following events in Russia very closely, and there are some people there who argue that the nuclear exercises tomorrow should begin the downward trend towards a crisis. Other people disagree. I mean, the nuclear crisis, the nuclear exercises, always at the end of military exercises. It always ends in disaster because no one's going to win a nuclear war. There's nothing to say that people can't start one. And so, you know, we've got to solve this crisis right now, or we'll be looking at the same crisis 6 or 7 months from now. And we got Americans running around the world. We got the vice president in Munich talking about the imminent crisis and the cost to the world in terms of energy and the rest of it. President saying the same thing. Secretary of State did battle in the United Nations this week, saying, you know, the war is coming. But, you know, the thing is, they're all saying that the only way to stop this are sanctions. And sanctions are misleadingly put under the title or the heading of deterrence. Deterrence is really the fear of retaliation. Nobody has said to Putin, we're going to stop you before you kill 50,000 Ukrainians. I mean, this is the ridiculous part, is that the United States is sort of bankrupt here. I mean, you know, Biden is out of options. You know, he's just saying that if you attack Ukraine, there isn't much we can do about it, except we're going to cut off your credit cards and your bank statements. Well, that doesn't mean much to people like Putin anyway. So in a sense, deterrence has failed. And people are saying, you know, to me and others that NATO is now a revived institution. Well, that's baloney, because everybody in NATO is trying to get out of this thing. They don't want to become the battering ram next time. And there are serious things going on. We got rocket bases in Poland and Romania, and the Russians worry about these kinds of things. But the thing is, we haven't been able to stop Putin from thinking about invading Ukraine. And of course, the Ukrainians haven't asked for NATO troops, so they do want to get into NATO to protect themselves. So we're going to have a think about how to do this. You know, I've been saying all my life that the world is an uncertain and dangerous place. And in the last month or so, it's become more dangerous and more uncertain, as a matter of fact.